Most people in the world are running around looking like adults, but acting like pouty children, angry, walled off. They look fine, they act fine at work, but it's in their intimate relationships that you see their wounds. Therefore, before you date anyone, ask them something about their childhood. If they had trauma, run. If they had trauma and they have not gone to done a bunch of work on themselves, run. If they're uncomfortable expressing their emotions, run. Um, you want to see how healthy they are emotionally. And that is not going to come out on the first or second date. It's going to come out when they're called on to be intimate. Um, it's going to come about in those intimate situations where maybe they want something you don't want and you say no. Ooh, they feel rejected. Are they going to punish you by pulling away or lashing out at you? Or do they always have to be right? Do they mistrust women or men because they've been hurt so badly? Do they have a wall of armor around their heart? They've been hurt so badly. You know, are they going to be a doormat and not be like confident and tell you what they want because they're people pleasers? That's how they've learned to get love, is by just people pleasing and abandoning their own wants. You're going to get bored with someone like that. Or are they grandiose and always have to be right? Do they refuse your bids for connection and intimacy? These things are not going to come out on the first or second date because everyone can be charming. That's how they are at work. That's why you always hear about the guy who's like super charming at work, and then all of a sudden you find out he's been a wife beater, let's say. Um, I think we have to really start weeding out people who have never done any work on themselves. That's what I want to say. And for a lot of men, they haven't. They feel like it's like a reason to be ashamed or something, just because no one taught them some basic relational skills, And the way to see what your patterns are is to see how happy you are in your relationships. Like, how well is your primary intimate relationship working? And if you're single, how happy were you in your last primary sexual relationship? How happy were you and how happy are you? And that's going to show you some wounds. And hey, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It's just some patterns that you can shift. And the thing about the patterns to shift is, one, a lot of people don't even know that they have patterns to shift. So some people are aware, like I'm aware that I have to shift some patterns. That's what I'm working on. The second thing is, you may be in a relationship with someone and make them aware of a pattern to shift, and they do not want to. And they never want to. And you can spend years and years trying to get them to change or fix them or being resentful. That's your responsibility for staying. I'm going to own that I stayed because I didn't know this stuff. That's why I'm teaching you. If you're unhappy in your relationship, get help. Go to a therapist. Go to talk to someone. You can even talk to me. Just set up a free call with me. Or this isn't about me trying to get business. This is just me sharing, okay? I think everybody has got to do some work maybe around their reactive patterns. And a reactive pattern isn't just yelling, it's shutting down. Shutting down is just as destructive as yelling. You hurt the people you're with just as much. Trying to fix people, change them, you know. is also unhealthy. So it's about learning our patterns and learning some healthy relational skills. How many of us had parents and saw it modeled? You're not going to see it modeled on TV. Probably didn't see it modeled with your parents. How to interact relationally and powerfully. So when you're dating, ask them about their childhood. Find out if they've done any work on themselves. And wait till you get to know someone to see how they interact. When you start to get closer, are they going to pull away? And by pulling away, they can either ghost you, they can become unavailable, or they can start judging you and finding everything wrong with you. That's another way of pulling away. You know, this whole intimacy thing is not for the frail of heart. I would say it's even more challenging than being successful in business. Being successful in business is all about motivation and focus, and it's from here, the head. But being in your body and your emotions and living powerfully, that's the golden ticket. That's the really difficult and the most rewarding skill of all, because now we're in our hearts. All those successful people running those big companies, making billions of dollars, they're not in their hearts. All those people wanting likes on Instagram, that's not being in their hearts. That's coming from wounding. They're wounded, you guys. Looking for likes, trying to make money while hurting other people and not giving a shit. Like Mark Zuckerberg, he doesn't care that his program is making teenagers depressed. They don't care about people. That's not in their hearts. See, we look up to them as being successful. They're not successful. They're poisonous to our society, a lot of these people. So the real power and why we're on earth is to love each other. And to love each other, we have to be in our hearts, and we can't give our love freely to people. It has to have boundaries. So we have to learn relational skills. We have to be vulnerable and ask for what we want and be discerning and come from a place of love. That's the real work to do. And, you know, like, for example, like right now I'm reading, I didn't realize it, Gifts from a Challenging Childhood. And I'm also in Terrence Real's online course for relational life therapy. I'll put a link to his website in the show notes. I guess that's what they call it, show notes. So you can check that out. That's what I'm talking about. Inner work, inner child work, reparenting work, working on your triggers. You know, when you and your spouse argue, how do you resolve it? All that stuff. So most people that you see on the dating sites are severely wounded. I think that there should be, like, ideally on the dating apps, there would be like a number next to each person where, like, the more wounded they are, the redder it gets, like, stay away. Like a 10 is really red and a 1 is like kind of light yellow. You want to stay in the 3s or belows. And you want to be with people who want to work on their stuff. So you can't date any alcoholics or addicts. You have to, like, people with mental illness or something, they have to have some, you know, basic life skills and be sober. And they have to want to work on their stuff. That's, you know, my suggestion. What do you guys think? By the way, last night I had so much fun. I was out dancing at this really fun place, and at that place the guys asked me to dance, and I do, and sometimes I ask them to dance, and like I'm like hip bumping them while I'm dancing. I just have so much fun at this place. So I know I'm making this video sounding really serious, but I feel like pretty happy. And that's the other gift of doing this work, is that uncovering these patterns and letting these things go leads to joy, leads to more joy. That's the reason to do it. And thank you for watching my video.